Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Yacono. If you've owned the same home for the past 5 years or so, then you know property taxes have gone way up since before the pandemic. Well, state legislators on both sides of the aisle now are looking to ease that burden, and that may include dusting off an old law that was passed decades ago before being repealed. Some, however, say bringing it back will do more harm than good. News Center Maine's Donovan Lynch reports from Augusta. Advocates for people who are unhoused are raising awareness about the recent closure of a shelter in York County. Organizers from Homeless Voices for Justice spread bed pads across the lawn of the State House today. 37 people were displaced when that shelter closed last week. State Representative Michelle Meyer says the cost of providing shelter and services for unhoused people in our state is constantly climbing, but that state support for our emergency shelters remains flat. She adds that there are more than 4,000 Mainers experiencing homelessness, but there are only 1,200 shelter beds available across the state. Now, the only emergency shelter in Aroostook County is also at risk of closing.
Without that shelter services, some residents of the county are over 5.5 hours away from their nearest emergency shelter.
Any shelter that closes is definitely going to put people on the street, you know.
Data from Maine Housing shows that statewide homelessness increased by 35% over the past year. A woman from Rockport facing arson charges after police say she set fire to her own home. First responders were called to that home on West Street Tuesday afternoon. They found that home on fire and evidence of smaller fires on the property that were no longer burning. Well, they later charged Andrea Annis with setting those fires. She was taken to the hospital for an evaluation. We're told once she is discharged, she will be taken to the Knox County Jail. South Portland police say they made a mistake when they detained a Deering High School student late yesterday morning in Portland. We're told officers thought he was a burglary suspect they were looking for. News Center Maine's Alex Haskell joining us live tonight from Orkney Street in Portland, where this happened yesterday. Alex Haskell live for us in Portland this evening. Alex, thank you. Still ahead right here tonight, we will meet 16 of Maine's best teachers. But first, concerns growing now over the number of suicides on Maine bridges. Tonight, we're taking a look at what's being done to curb the number of suicides associated with some of the tallest of Maine's bridges. After years of delays, Maine's Department of Transportation is currently installing suicide prevention barriers on the Penobscot Narrows Bridge just south of Bucksport. Almost immediately after it opened, nearly 2 decades ago now, that bridge became a magnet for people intent on ending their own lives. Well, just over 120 miles south on the border between Maine and New Hampshire are 2 more bridges that have seen an uptick in suicides. News Center Maine's Caroline LaCour has that story. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, you're not alone. For help, you can call the Maine Crisis Line at 1-888-568-1112 or 711. There's also the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. All of these resources are available 24/7. Well, we saw quite a bit of sunshine today. We're still headed for another wet weekend, though. Keith's forecast is next. And then what could be one future for the Bangor Mall. Nice spring day for some, burst of summer today for others.
Yeah, either way it was good. It was just is how much did it get you thinking? Did you notice a couple of days ago black fly started getting?
Oh, I have not noticed that.
Yeah, it was like only during certain hours. Well, this is how it goes here, right? Like in the morning when I was with Luke at the bus stop, and then like late yesterday afternoon when I was trying to finish a job, I was getting.
When you feel
they were just like, must be spring here. Summerish though, and look at northern Maine, 85 in Caribou. The models had pumped this out.
Well, a new bill is offering a silver lining for the future of the Bangor Mall after turmoil and lawsuits plagued that property in recent months. This bill proposes to leverage state resources to help the city of Bangor and others chart a path forward for that property. News Center Maine's Christian Harsa has our story. Senator Baldacci and Maine Redevelopment both say it's too early to know what a revisioned Bangor Mall could look like or when plans could be made for it. When we come back right here, Maine's Teachers of the Year. And finally this evening, some days being a teacher can be a thankless job. But for 16 Maine teachers,